have some Mardi Gras fun. Boot, boot.
So
For a couple
excited.
of hours anyway.
So excited. And look, I have my Mardi Gras earrings on. I know you have some stuff. I have my Zulu necklace
I
on.
have
I'm
a
so
bead here, and
excited.
I've got my little masks for Mardi Gras. I wish it would have
Yeah.
been, I had a yellow one too, because it just has the green and purple.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is what it is. But we are showing our Mardi Gras love.
Giving it away today in the glitter and the glitz. That's right. Yeah.
That's right. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little banner in for this. So Laurie, talk a little bit about the Mardi Gras Readathon for our folks that might not have seen the announcement video. I believe I put the announcement video in the description box, so if anybody wants to watch it, but talk about that, and let's talk about our group read too.
Sure, yeah. So Mardi Gras Readathon, I started several years ago now. I guess is this our fourth year? I think so.
This is the fourth year.
Fourth year,
My third year with you, though.
Right. And I started it alone the first time. I had never done a readathon before. I still am not great at them, but I give it my best. And I just wanted to sort of honor where we kind of live now and, you know, and the traditions of Mardi Gras. So we've had the same prompts since. That makes it easy for all of us, I think. But also it's easy to find books to read for those prompts. And so we can make sure that you see those in Discord, but also here in the description box if needed. But you can watch the videos on my channel as well. And then I had met Kat through BookTube and started following her, and we started connecting because we live very close together. And I thought she would be the best co-host for me. And I thought that would just be so much fun. And it has. I'm just so grateful that you're here and doing this with me all these times.
Yeah, it's fun. And it's fun because we live in, I think, a fun area.
Yeah, we do.
Where it's like, let's just have I mean, our area, well, especially New Orleans, it's like, let's throw a party for anything, right?
Anything. That's right. That's right. Anything. And they can throw a party, that's for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So, well, we're so excited. Travis is here. And we woke him up with the ad before we started.
Oh, we did?
Yes. Oh, I didn't hear that. We get the countdown. And Hermie's here. And Jamie's here. Hello, everybody. Yay. We're so happy that you're here.
I'm happy too, but I have no idea why my banner will not show.
Well, oh, and there's Liz. I'm not your girl for that. You're the one who's teaching me all the things I
know why. Well, it would help, you know, I always think to myself, I'm a reader, but like, why I can't read signs that say add the banner?
I don't know. Hi, Eleanor. Good to have you here too. We're so excited.
I promise I can read, y'all.
And Alicia's here. Yay, Alicia knows the Mardi Gras colors for sure. As well she should.
Yeah, Swank is here also telling us some other things that are being celebrated today. Winnie the Pooh, who I love. It's Happy Thesaurus Day, which I love. Gourmet Coffee Day, which I love. And World Snow Day, which I don't necessarily love. But you know what's bizarre is my friend lives in Georgia, and he had snow today. Like it snowed. And what was so weird about it was yesterday was just a mild day, no big deal. And then today it was snowing.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, we had somebody posted or sent in to the news this morning a video of snow where I live in South Mississippi. Now, it wasn't a ton and it looked like it was just very, very light, but still. And there's been a few other sightings of snow nearby. So it really did get cold and snowy. So, and then my son, they're coming back from North Mississippi for a funeral. And so I say, there was some flakes this morning, you know, and he said, oh yeah, there's 2 feet of snow up here where we're leaving just now. And I said, really? And he said, no, I'm just kidding. It's like, why do kids do that? Even though they're older, they still do it.
Yeah, well, he sent me a video of it, and it almost sounded like rain, but he has this like really huge pond outside. So I think that's what was appearing. And you could see it on like the rooftops. He lives in an apartment complex, like a condo apartment type complex. And so you could see it like on some of the buildings around, but he said it's not, he said for the amount that was coming down, it's not sticking.
Yeah,
So
right.
my thing for him was, well, I will be praying and hoping that it doesn't freeze, because you don't want ice, because then that's a problem when you're trying to
It's
drive,
true.
especially in
That's
the
what made
morning.
me think about them coming back. I was like, "Oh, no," and then, of course, he's just joking, but, yeah, you can hear snow, which has
Yes.
always been something wonderful to me, but sometimes it is just the water and things like that, but, oh, I love snow. I really, really do.
I mean, I love it in the sense that I think it's pretty, and as long as I'm not, like, having to drive in it or do anything where I have to, like, go now, I played in the snow last year when it happened,
You
like,
did
I was a
too?
little kid.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah,
"This is when
we did
Andrew should have
too.
been home," because the last time it snowed, Andrew was, I think, in high school, and he was like, "Mama, come out and play," and I'm like, "No." I was such a Scrooge about it, and he's like,
Oh,
"You're no fun," and I'm like, "No, I just don't feel like it. I don't feel like getting wet," and all that kinda stuff. I was like such a brat, and I'm like, I regret it because it would have been fun, but last year I was like, "You know what? It may never snow again, so let
it's
me go out and
true.
play in the snow," and I built my snowman Bob. I had a whole story about Bob on Instagram, and he went to
I
the winter
know, it was
vortex.
so
I
fun.
was just like, "Who am I?" I'm
See,
just
snow is the best.
yes, but once
Mhm.
it was done, like, once my week and Bob left me, I was like, "Okay, I've had enough. Let's move on."
Well, hopefully Bob will come back one day, but maybe
I
not.
know, I know. Gary said we had a slight possibility of getting snow here, but it just
That's
the way
what I
the
heard.
weather shifted and the
Yeah,
rain and all that kind of stuff, it didn't align for us, which I was like, I really am kinda glad it didn't happen this week. Like, let it
yeah.
happen another time.
I hope it doesn't happen. I may if I'm feeling up to it, I may go to New Orleans tomorrow to spend the day with the girls because Jesse has to work and I'm off for MLK Junior Day, and my daughter and her kid are out of daycare, etc. So I may go to the city tomorrow because I also need something from Sam's that they don't sell in my Sam's, which is really
Mhm.
upsetting to me. But I don't know. It just depends on the weather and also kind of how the weather internally in my body.
Right,
But
right.
much, much better today,
Like,
yeah.
will that align? Will that align?
Exactly, yeah, yeah. No snow for Alicia, though.
No,
Oh,
because she
I
lives
know.
in Georgia also.
Oh, god.
So I know that she had that possibility too, but my chicken's water was frozen this
Well,
morning
I'm
for
telling
the
you, my
chickens.
son has chickens too, and I had to go feed his dogs and chickens this morning, take care of the chickens and tend to all that and get the eggs and all that stuff, and I gotta tell you, I was really worried about those chickens. When I came in, the first thing I did was go look to see if they were moving in the
Mhm.
pen because it was so freaking cold for a chicken, but they said my son says, they're fine." That's what he always says. It's like
Well, I mean, I guess if you think about it, I mean, chickens live in the wild
all
too,
over the
right?
place. Yeah, they do.
So,
All over
I
the
mean,
country, but
I would guess unless we just, people that own chickens babyfy their chickens to the point like, let's put it this way,
I
my
mean,
dogs
you
have
could
fur
put a heater
coats,
in there.
and they
Yeah,
could be outside with their
yeah.
fur coats, but my babies are not used to being outside for
No,
any long length of
no,
time,
no,
that
mine either.
if it's
Yeah,
hot, they're gonna want their AC, and if it's
yeah.
cold, they're gonna want their fireplace or their heat.
Yeah. Well, I worry about my grand chickens all the time, so they're fine though. Everybody's fine, and their parents are coming home now, so it's all good.
I know. I'm
Goodness.
glad.
Oh,
Yeah,
Liz.
Liz says, "I had to shovel yesterday and then again today, ready for spring." Yeah, I don't blame you. Don't blame you. Somebody's
Heidi, hello.
cute.
So
Travis
glad
said,
you're
"I will say
here.
I'm more here just to support and see my fave peeps. I have
Oh,
so many reading challenges going on." Yeah, that's understandable, Travis. And honestly, if you can be reading or doing productivity tasks, you don't have to necessarily be
that's
here
right.
specifically for that. So,
That's right.
read what you want to read and do what you want to do. We're just here to hang out, to kick off this readathon and
That's
see what's
right.
up, kind of remind everybody what the
Mhm.
details are. I don't know if Lori mentioned this is the group read is The
Yes,
Little
mine
French
is a different cover.
Bistro
Yeah,
by Nina George. I
yeah.
read this one I don't think it was last year. I thought it was the year before. I'd have to go check on my Goodreads. But this book right here will cover multiple prompts.
It sure
It will
will.
cover France, it will cover music, it will cover food,
Food, yeah.
it counts if depending
Friends,
on what
it
cover
sounds
you
like
have.
Friends.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it has friends, it has a little purple in it if you wanna use it
Mhm.
for bonus. So, the Little French Bistro, will cover that. I will
Yeah.
tell you, I loved it. I believe I gave it 5 stars, and,
I think you did, yeah.
Nina George's writing is beautiful. And I just loved the way her writing style. Like, I want to pick up her other one. She has another one, I think, called The Paris Bookshop, I
It
believe.
is that. I
Yeah,
looked
I
the
think
other
that was
day.
her first one,
Yeah,
and, I need to see about trying to get a copy of it. But I
yeah,
will tell you, there is humor in it, but it's also has melancholy undertones. So just to say,
yeah, thank you
going
for saying
into it, it's not
that.
all, happy, happy, joy, joy, but it really does have a wonderful story. I
Yeah,
mean, at the heart of it, especially the main
yeah,
character. Not resonated, I can't say, but I don't know, I didn't identify with her, but I,
just felt connected to her.
felt connected to
Yeah,
her,
yeah,
yes, like I was
yeah,
invested in her, that's what I wanna say,
yeah.
like I was
Okay,
invested
that's
in her
good.
and
Yeah,
invested in her story. So, if
yeah.
anybody hasn't read this one, this is our group read, and we'll have a live chat to discuss it, in February. All those details will come out, as Laurie and I coordinate our schedule. We like to try to do it on Mardi Gras Day, but I think
Yeah,
last year we did it the Sunday before Mardi Gras just because of
maybe.
scheduling or something.
It's possible, yeah.
Because the thing about it is we might be off because of Mardi Gras, but not everybody in the
Yes.
world is off.
Not everybody else is. I know, that's what I was thinking about that too I was just thinking about it the other day and I
I
thought, "Oh,
think
but."
that might be why we moved it to Sunday last
I
year
think
was
so, because
because
it was a Tuesday afternoon and people are working for the most part, unless they're partying in in the
yeah,
various places.
unless you're partying, that is true, that is true.
That's right, yeah.
But, yeah, I would recommend it. I loved it. I know I had done it in a wrap-up video, so, and my and
Yeah,
and my review is on Goodreads, but very nice. Jamie
yeah,
said it was 78 here yesterday, 73 right now. That's nice
it's a pretty
temperatures.
day, that's right, I love the '70s.
And Jamie loves that they're your grand chickens. That's like I got a grand snake
That's right.
ice cream bar. And I have 2 grand cats, if I count, Par and Nene. Alicia
Yeah,
said, "They handle cold weather better than you'd expect. I set up a nice warm spot for mine in the coop at night, and they're so stubborn, they don't even use it." Mm.
isn't that funny? Yeah, I and that's what my son said too. He said, he's obviously researched, I'm sure, because I don't think he had chickens before they decided to do this, but that's what he said too. He said they can survive a lot of stuff, so,
Yeah.
yeah, and they've all done pretty well. We've only lost 1 chicken to we think it was a some sort of a fox or something that got in the yard, and so we lost that one, but, you can't I mean, foxes are very and they're in the pen, they're all
Well,
specific,
foxes are sly,
they're
but
they're very
you also have to be careful about birds of prey.
well,
However,
yeah, it could have been, I suppose, a bird, I'm not sure
because
what.
our neighbor next door had chickens, and she had these fancy little chickens that were like
Yeah.
looked like they had on boas and feathery hats and
Oh,
all.
wow,
They're
yeah, I
so
love
cute.
those, they're so
Well,
pretty.
she had them, and they were so precious, and she was getting eggs and doing all the thing.
Yeah,
Well, her, chickens were being picked off when they were out in the yard. They were either getting taken by an owl or some other bird of prey, and that was it. So
yeah, I know, it's very scary.
so she stopped with her chickens. She doesn't have them anymore. Travis says, "I'm still reading the Jurassic Park prequel, which is good.
Good,
Excellent."
yeah.
And Naomi's here. Hello. I'll be reading Little Women and The Maid and maybe The Alchemist.
Oh,
I
nice.
definitely jump around in
I
my
was gonna
reading. I see
say, those
that.
sound pretty close.
I haven't read The Maid or The Alchemist, but I would like to read both. I love Little Women. and I've read that a couple of times over the
Yeah,
years.
me too. I've loved all of those. They're very good, each one. Yeah.
Swank says, I got the book from the library. I enjoyed it, even with the triggers it had for me.
Yeah, I was sort of surprised by that, and then I texted Kat, and she was like, "It's gonna be okay."
Yeah, it does. Because Mary
Yeah,
Ann goes through a journey, like, she really
yeah,
does go through a journey of self-discovery,
yeah,
and
for
that's what I
sure.
loved about it. And, it's interesting to see her choices and, as she goes through, and it's like, there's moments where you're like, "What is she gonna decide to do?"
Yeah,
It's like, "Come on,
yeah,
please,"
I
because you
know.
have what you would want her to do, and then what is really
Right.
right for her,
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah.
Jamie said, I got both the physical and audiobook of Little French Bistro from my library. We'll be starting it next week since I have a friend who wants to buddy read it
Oh,
with me.
good. Good job.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Leandra's
maybe
here.
a good
Hello,
buddy reader.
Leandra.
Oh,
Hello to
hey.
everyone. Welcome. It's good
Yay, we're
seeing
happy to
you.
see you. Hello, hello.
And Eleanor said, I started reading The Lady on Esplanade. It's the
Yeah,
third book in the Royal Street series by Karen White. That's funny you said that. It takes place in New Orleans and has mystery, haunted antiques, some humor, and romance.
yes.
One of my friends that I volunteer with at the Friends of the Library store, we were talking about, we got on the topic of New Orleans stories and stories in Louisiana because of the Mardi Gras Readathon. And
Yeah.
I asked her, because she reads lots of cozy mysteries. And I asked her if she had read Bayou Book Thief that we read
Uh-huh,
last year.
uh-huh.
And I said, I really need to see if I can find another book. So I had looked to see if they had any of the other books on the shelf there, and they didn't. Because I
Yeah.
thought, well, I wouldn't mind reading the second book this year, and
Yeah,
continue
I
the
had gotten it
series.
too, so we could buddy read it if you
Yeah,
want.
so I wanted to see about trying to
Mhm.
find it. Well, she was telling me about this Royal Street series by Karen White, and there's
Yeah,
another series or whatever. But I said I'm gonna have to check into that because that would be fun
yeah,
to read those
yeah.
as well.
The Lady on Esplanade was good. That was an arc for me, so but I haven't gone back to the first 2.
To the first one. Swank
Yeah.
says, I woke up to 43 degrees Fahrenheit this morning.
Oh,
Wow. We were in the 30s. We were in the 30s this
yeah.
morning. So,
We
needless to say, I didn't walk and I decided I'm not going to do the treadmill. I'm hoping if the sun is out long enough that it'll warm up and I can go walk, later. Jamie said, I have nothing so exotic, just two grand corgis.
well, Grand Corgis are gorgeous, though. Yeah, they're so cute.
Yeah, they are cute. And we had a raccoon in our trash can
Oh,
last night. I was like, boy, it's cold. Go somewhere else.
I'm telling you, I don't love raccoons.
Oh, hey to Leandra from Jamie.
Yay.
And Travis said, I'm so sleepy today. I slept 12 hours and already had half a pot of coffee, but I'm still so tired. And I made zucchini bread last night, so I'm having some of that with honey. Yeah, when
Nice.
we go on our first sprint, I'm gonna go have some gumbo. My husband made gumbo yesterday. So
Oh,
nothing
nice.
speaks Louisiana like
True,
some
like
gumbo. And I'm
that's
gonna be reading Haunted Bayou, which
good.
goes well with gumbo and other Cajun ghost stories. This is by
Yeah,
JJ Renaud. I'm
yeah.
excited. There's quite a few stories in this that'll keep me busy throughout the readathon. And the first one is called Haunted by You. So I'm excited about that. There's even one story called The Werewolf Bridegroom. So
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
that sounds
And there's a nightmare witch and a Madame Longfingers. Now I don't know about the
ooh,
Longfingers.
that
I
one's
wonder what
even
that's gonna be
better.
about. I mean, don't they have cookies or cakes called ladyfingers?
Ladyfingers, yes.
Yeah, well, we got Madame Longfingers here,
That's
so I don't know what that's all about. But anyway, that's what I'm going to be kicking off
I'm
the
gonna
Mardi Gras
read this
Readathon.
one because I started it and I'm 27 pages in, so I'm gonna get back to this today,
Very,
as
very
well.
nice.
Yeah, very happy with that.
And Kat, me too. I love when a character changes and
Yeah.
grows. I do too. Yeah, but because I love character-driven stories. That's my thing. I'm all about the
Mhm.
characters. And yeah, I'd like it to have a decent plot, but if the characters are interesting and they show some kind
They
of
evolve, yes,
growth,
yes.
that you really can be invested, where it's also too, if the character is written well enough, they almost feel like a real person that you
Mhm,
could actually have a conversation with,
mm,
or like, I know that seems weird, but
No, not at all.
Swank says, I'm going to start the Voodoo
Ooh,
Queen for the Mardi Gras Readathon.
need to take a
Ooh,
look at that.
I love that. And Travis said, we have a local coffee shop that's doing Mardi Gras flavors, and they have a moon pie latte, and it's so good. Ooh, that sounds really good.
I love
I
that.
I last year we went to the district for my birthday, and they had Mardi Gras martinis, and I had
Mm,
gotten one that was absolutely delicious.
they can be very.
So this year we chose to go to Murphy's. That was my choice, because we weren't going to dinner. My dad came up and Andrew came up, so I was like, "Let's go. Let's not do the district. Let's go to Murphy's
Mm,
because we love that place also." But I was thinking, "Ooh, Barry and I might need to go to the district and go sit at the bar and have a martini so I can have a Mardi Gras martini. I got to see
yeah.
if they're having them first and have like a little appetizer."
Yes.
But we all also are planning. I put it out there to him to go to Gnarly Gras. We have a brewery out here where I live called Gnarly Barley,
Nice.
and so they serve food and they have all their their beer on tap and everything. And they are, I think, introducing some kind of new beer flavor
Oh.
during that festival, but they have live music and it's very family friendly. They have like usually have a bounce house for the kids and that
Mhm.
kind of stuff. But anyway, if it's decent weather, if it's not great weather, then we're not going to go because it will be mainly outside, you
Right.
know. So yeah. So anyway, I'm hoping that's what I would love to do next Saturday.
Yeah.
And Alicia said that's Daddy King Legs' wife.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
Lori might not know about Daddy King Legs. That's all in our sprint art for Mad Libs. Alicia graced us with Daddy King Legs as one of
Oh,
the
and that's how
characters.
we ended up with that? That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
so you know what, Alicia, we could probably create a whole story about how Daddy King Legs meets Madam Longfingers and, have this maybe really, what's the word, steamy romance or something in the
Yeah,
bayou. Maybe
yeah.
Daddy King Legs comes to Louisiana to meet her.
Be funny.
Oh my gosh. And Travis says, I have never been to a Mardi Gras celebration because I don't like large crowds. Yeah.
Well, don't go to New
Um,
Orleans then, but there are a few in South Mississippi that are quieter. If you wanna head out here one day and just see one, I can find you a real small one.
yes, yes. And also our parades are not too bad. I mean, we have crowds, but I mean, we're a small town. It's not like you have people coming in like they do for like the Strawberry Festival. It's
Yeah,
mostly locals that are,
yeah,
coming for
yeah,
our little parades in Ponchatoula and Hammond. And Travis says, I'm all for down to make the art.
I'm
And
telling
oh
you.
my, I was thinking it could be a children's book.
Well, not anymore.
Oh, let's just go full steam. Well, y'all know me. It won't be too steamy. It won't be super steamy because I'm not into the open door realm of steaminess, y'all. So
Oh, goodness, goodness, goodness. Yeah, yeah,
okay, so we are ready to go to a sprint. We were
yeah.
thinking, since we're only going to be here for a couple of hours, we were thinking about doing a 30-minute sprint, if that's okay with y'all. And then I think Lori might want to share some little tidbits when we come back to chat after, about Mardi Gras just in general. So here or there. And then we'll be about on our way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So okay, so let's get our
Alright.
kitty cats set up. I wish I could have made Mardi Gras colors for our kitty cat. This is the closest I could get.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I have a
Yeah.
little bit of like what they would consider yellow with the purple, just no
It's a gold
green.
kitty and a purple background, yeah. In fact, that's
Right.
why I wore my gold today, my gold sweater instead of a bright yellow shirt because first of all, it's long sleeved and I'm cold, but second of all, it looked a little bit more, you know, Mardi
Festive.
Gras-ish.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. So, all
Okay.
right.
There we go. Happy sprinting, everyone.
Printing.
That startled me.
And I was ready this time. It often startles me, but not this time.
Well, it did because like I'm like so engrossed in the story that I'm like, oh my gosh, he's about to tell him the story of why the bayou is haunted.
Oh, and then you were like, oh, yeah.
Yes, I'm like, I love ghost stories and I love anything haunted, like haunted houses, haunted
Me too.
abandoned buildings, anything like that. So this one's pretty good. It so far. I mean, I'm not finished yet.
Good.
Let's see how much longer I have. It's a little bit, but it's about a guy named Bubba Johnson. Well, his name is Bubba Johnson. He's
Oh,
a car salesman, and he like swindles people a little bit, but
gotcha.
he decides to go to this his fishing buddies tell him about this haunted bayou fish camp. And so he's taken out here in the middle of nowhere, and he's like, like maybe I should just turn around. This is like ridiculous. But he stays in a cabin that cost him like $13. And so he's out on the water with the husband. And he's like, I suppose you're going to tell me why this is haunted or whatever. So, he's not a believer of ghosts, I
Oh,
guess, but he's
yeah.
trying to talk to him about how he could make a big profit, from, you
Yeah.
can do a much better. And the little guy's like, well, we like how we're living and we don't need, we're rich in other ways, not
Yeah.
monetarily, but we're rich in other ways. So we'll see
Huh.
what happens to Bubba Johnson. He might make it. He might not. He might get the tar scared out of him. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I got to page 50, so I did pretty
Oh,
well, and it's lifting up a little.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So is she still in transition, or has she made her destination yet?
She's still in transition.
Okay.
So yeah,
Well,
but
yeah.
she talked to some nuns,
Mm,
which
mm.
always makes me happy.
Right,
It's like,
right. Because she is still like kind of contemplating things
yes,
at this point. Yeah.
yes, she's still
Okay.
trying to. She has a goal, but I think she's going to change her mind. Yeah. So
So, yeah, I'm not saying anything. I'm
yeah,
just gonna say that, I mean, you are gonna eventually get to, like, where she gets to a destination.
yeah, yeah. I
So
can't wait. I can't wait.
so while we were sprinting, PJ Lacey came in,
I
and,
know. I'm so happy. My book
Lori and
club.
I both welcomed PJ in. Also, Linda popped in. I
Yeah.
asked her what she was up to today. She said the group read looks awesome, and she said I'm going to get going on the group read and maybe read a reread from last year, which sounds
Good.
good.
Yeah.
And Travis said, I drank even more coffee and they did nothing. Still feel like I could sleep forever, sitting on the
Yeah.
couch with the kitties and working on a project. You might be overstimulated or overtired, and like the coffee and your overtiredness are like clashing, you
Mm,
know, maybe.
possibly. Maybe. Yeah.
Alicia said, I finished The Familiar by Lisa Tuttle.
That sounds like I need to look it up.
Yeah, Alicia reads some very interesting books. She reads like a lot of fantasy, but she also reads a lot of horror and I think historical fiction too.
Okay.
So a little bit of everything, but I do know she like leans to the fantasy and the horror realms.
Alright.
Jamie said, no reading that sprint. I'm working so fat. I'm working, so that sprint was spent training one of our newer team members. I want to
Aw.
tell you, Jamie, this first story, Haunted by You, they tell a story about Jean Lafitte, which kind of reminds me of Pay the Piper, which was Kelsey's group read. Well, not her group read. It was her book club read for February last year for Folklore February, but it
Uh-huh.
takes place in Louisiana. So
Uh-huh.
it could count also, but just a very similar story. So immediately when he was talking about Jean Lafitte, I'm like, oh, this reminds me of Pay the Piper. Um,
Yeah. I love
so
that.
I had sent that one to her. Teresa's here. Hello, Teresa. I'm listening to Are You Mad at Me? I'm going to a book fest in New Orleans in March, and reading
Nice.
authors will be there. That's
Well,
awesome.
I think I need to look that up. I think I may have looked that up. I need to look at it
Isn't
again.
Book Fest the one that's at the Moriel
I think so, yeah.
Convention
I've been
Center?
there Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
The
have
river.
never been, but I've heard it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Andy's here. Hello, Andy. Reading The River
Yeah.
is Waiting today. Happy to see two of my faves doing sprints.
Oh,
Well, we're happy
we're
to see you
you
too. Hope you're doing
too.
well. Alicia said, you pretty much summed up my book taste. The Familiar is a vintage horror, a paperback from hell. Nice.
I love it. I love it.
Well, I don't know. Are you familiar with the paperbacks from hell? A group of vintage horror?
Just a little bit. I've just heard about it, but I haven't made any like effort to find out what they
Yeah,
all
it's
are.
your basic vintage horror from like the 80s, maybe
Yeah, I
even
figured.
earlier,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit later. But Grady Hendrix is the one that wrote Paperbacks from Hell,
Oh, no kidding. I love
the
him.
nonfiction. It's a
Yeah.
nonfiction book, and he has a lot of covers and things. I had put it on my list to read last year and just kind of never devoted any time. I should have started in January and read a little bit because I don't want to say it's a coffee table book, but it's a type of book that you wouldn't read
Yeah.
it like in one sitting. You need
Right.
to like kind of read and digest it. And so there's a bunch of books in there, that are classified like paperbacks from hell,
Wow. Love that.
so
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty
Funny.
cool.
Yeah.
So
All right.
did you want to share anything with the
Well,
folks while we're
I
on this
can
little
just
brief?
briefly sort of talk about a one particular crew from Mardi Gras in New Orleans, and then maybe next time we sprint, we can talk about another one. But one of my favorites, and that's one of the reasons I wore this today, is Zulu. I don't know if you can see,
Yeah,
but this.
let me make you big.
Oh, make me big. Well, Zulu. Yeah. So Zulu's parade is one of my favorites because for several reasons that you'll probably figure out as I'm talking to you. But this crew they got together and started this in 1909. So they've been doing this for a really long time. And they are at that time, they were an all African American crew. And they created this crew because they really wanted to have their own ability to have a parade and to celebrate Mardi Gras because the white crews would not allow them to participate. So that's how that began. However, in the evolving years, things changed a lot, and they were, happy to welcome in anyone who wanted to be a part of Zulu because they were starting to be welcomed into other crews as well. So their first floats happened around 1915 to 1916. Can you imagine? Like they must have looked very different than
Yes,
they
and I
do.
guess that they were drawn by a horse with a cat,
Yes, exactly. Real horses. Still, some of them today are pulled by real horses, which is a little frightening to a lot of people who are in the crowds, but I loved that part of it. And so, yeah, they adopted this from the Zulu tribe, and they took that name and they took those costumes, which are still prevalent today. And they wore grass skirts and blackface, of course. And like I said, a lot of people were upset by that. But if you look at sort of the history of this and you listen to some things about it, you'll discover kind of why that works out well. So their mission as a crew is to help other people. So they're financially supporting a lot of folks. And so I really love that too. And they pulled that forward because they had a tradition in the Baptist churches to really create ways in which they could raise money for other people. So during the civil rights era, they got a lot of guff because they were kind of stereotyping, and people thought that that was really unfair and that they needed to express themselves differently. And they said, of course, that they found this to be a way to empower Black people from the beginning of the creation, and then to help people to understand their culture and to make a cultural statement about the evolution of African Americans, especially in this space. Then this is my favorite one. It's funny. It's a lot funnier than some of these, right? There are coconuts, and I should have brought you one.
Yes, I was wondering. I was like, okay, I know she's got to mention the
I have the
coconuts.
coconuts because I had them last year, but there are coconuts, and they paint the coconuts, and they're gorgeous. They're usually gold, and they have little black things, just like, these symbols and different ones. And so they're really fun. And the whole, the excitement of the whole parade, if you're there live, is that you get to catch a coconut, right? I have several coconuts. And again, I apologize, I didn't bring them. But what was interesting is they were throwing these coconuts when they started to do this, and they they had a lawsuit filed against them because they hit people in the head with their coconuts, and people wanted to sue them for
Yeah, like,
damage.
so the coconuts were hitting the human coconuts.
Exactly. But they didn't have to pay out the lawsuit. So that's the good news for the crew. It was dismissed and they were exempted from any liability, and they still throw coconuts now. My
I was
thought is
gonna ask you if they still throw them or if they
they
just hand them down to people or
They
toss them.
usually toss them. They don't throw
Okay.
them violently, I would say, but
I would
yeah, and
hope that they would make eye contact, because my thing is
they
it's
do.
one
Yeah,
thing if you're sitting there, not paying attention and then you get conked on the coconut with
yeah,
the coconut,
yeah.
but if you can make eye contact, then you are a little bit better off at being able
You
to catch the coconut.
Absolutely, unless you've had a little too much alcohol by
Oh,
that point,
that's
and you're
true.
just like yeah. But yeah, it's really fun, and I will say this too, I don't understand that this lawsuit, was even created because, and I'm sure this is maybe one of the reasons it was dismissed, because there are multitudes of other parades that throw other things like Muses, which I may tell you about next time we sprint if you care to learn about Muses, but Muses throws shoes that are decorated
And they're big. It's
and they're
not like
big
just a
shoes.
little
That's right,
shoe.
not
It's a
that big,
big
but
decorative shoe.
real shoes, yes, and so there's lots of and beads. If you get hit on the head with beads,
Mhm.
it jars you. I've been hit on the head with beads, and so have all my kids.
They
So
throw
it's
cups, they throw
seriously cups.
doubloons. I mean, they throw
Yeah,
and they're
yes.
not
Moon
throwing like,
pies.
I would say the majority of the people who do throw from the floats don't bomb people, but I
No,
have seen people who are trying to get to people way in the back, and
that's
so, of course,
right.
they're,
They
throwing
really
with
give
all
it
their
a
might.
yeah, yeah,
Well, if it doesn't quite make it to them, it might make it to somebody and they get conked in the head or
yeah,
whatever, and
yeah.
the worst, in my opinion, is when someone sees somebody they know on the float,
Oh,
and you
yes.
happen to be next to them, and
Oh,
the
yes.
person, 'cause
And
a lot
then
of times they can't see you in the crowd,
right,
so it's like, because they're wearing masks, most of them are wearing some kind of mask, and of course,
right.
just think about, like, looking out into a sea of a bunch of people, and they might
Yelling.
spot somebody, they might not even spot the person right when they're in front of them. It could be as they're going or whatever, and I've seen it, and it's happened to me just because I knew people that have,
That's right.
ridden
Yeah,
in floats, and what they do is they get so excited that they start bombing people, like,
yes,
with stuff, and
because
then they
you
want you
want
to try
to
to get up front so they can hand
yeah.
you something specific they have for people that they know.
That's
It
right.
can be
Yes,
really
because I
wild
have
and crazy.
also ridden in floats over time, and I still belong to a crew, although I don't ride in the floats anymore because it's a little farther than where I live now, but we support them financially and do whatever we can, but I've thrown before, and I gotta tell you, there are several things that happen. People on the floats are generally drinking as well, unless they have to drive home, so there's that. I have been known to have had some, alcohol when I was on a float. Also, though, you have people who said, throw me something, throw me if you have this, throw this. I mean, they're very specific sometimes. And I do. I save things for people. I save things for people that I know very well. And then, the other kind of normal stuff that goes out all the time goes out. But you're so overwhelmed by you're moving. You don't stop generally unless something's gotten, kind of gummed up. You're moving, you don't see them right away because there's so many people out there,
Yep.
and so you just do your best, and I am not the best thrower, I gotta tell you. I'm just not great at it. So that's kind of how that thing gets a little bit crazy. But what they do, and they are beautiful costumes. Let me just say, it sounds like they're just, black and gold, but I mean, they are beautiful.
Mhm.
And they're sometimes beautiful umbrellas and things. So again, it's one of my favorites for that reason. But also, Zulu was, I think, the first crew, and I'm not sure, to come back and to roll with, and that's what they call these parades. They roll after Katrina, and
Oh,
Katrina
wow.
devastated New
And they
Orleans.
roll on Mardi Gras Day.
They roll on Mardi Gras Day in the morning, and so that's also important for you to know because all the parades are very well attended, but those are definitely the highlights, especially for people that come in from other parts of the country and the world because they want to see an actual Mardi Gras parade. So,
Mhm.
and that is, of course, because it's called Fat Tuesday because really You do all the things, all the debauchery, all the drinking, eating, whatever you want, because the next day is Ash Wednesday, and then you calm it down and you say you're not going to do this and do that. But yeah, somebody asked me the other day if I was going to go to a parade, and I said no, probably not, because most of the ones I really like are at night. And I said, plus I'm on a dry January, and which I'm loving. I might be on a dry 2026. But she said, oh, well, you can't come then. And I was like, okay, fine.
I mean, you could go and maybe have a mocktail.
Yeah, you don't have
festive
to.
Mardi Gras mocktail.
Exactly. There's lots of those as well. Yeah. So, but anyway, that's just a little synopsis of, and there's lots of information about Zulu online, but it's just, to me, it really represents so many things that are important for us to remember about people, and about fun, and about really caring for others and being
and then just the culture and the history and everything that's surrounding it.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So that is my spiel.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I'm glad that you shared that, because I didn't know how long Zulu had been around, and I didn't realize there was a lawsuit about the coconut, but I do remember that that it was like people used to throw, but then it was more like they either hand or they toss or whatever.
They toss for a while, yeah. And I will say this too, there were a lot of people that said, when I first heard about Zulu, that said that they would march secretly in the streets of New Orleans so that people wouldn't see them, participating in Mardi Gras. And I have discovered that that was actually not true, that they were just in small groups, and they were doing whatever they could, wherever they could, because of really by virtue of location more so than anything else, and access, because you wouldn't put a small parade in the middle at that time of a giant one, right? And some of these are even older than this one, but that was debunked, and I don't know by whom, but for a long time I just thought they had to do this in secret, which is also very sad. But
yeah, well, I'm glad that that's not true.
Me too. You can't always believe social media.
That is true. Well, thank you for sharing that, Lori. I love that. Of course. Jamie said that sounds interesting. I'm saving Pay the Piper for a Zombie-thon and looking forward to it. Excellent.
Good. Yeah, I'm going to add that for sure.
Eleanor said, I read a chapter in my book. Excellent. Yes. And Swank said, Alicia is the title Familiar Spirit by Tuttle. That's the one that she was Alicia Yo was reading. I also did eat my chicken and sausage gumbo, I will tell you, which was very good. Yeah, my husband is cooking up a storm in the kitchen right now. He is just finished up egg roll in a bowl, and we're gonna have steak and sweet potatoes later this evening.
Wow.
But he tries to cook, like he cooked gumbo yesterday. He tries to cook a bunch of different things on the weekend. Yeah. That way we have the week to kind of eat, and then package it up, whatever, and then we have stuff in the freezer. So,
I happen to know that's what PJ was working on this morning too, because she likes to prep meals ahead as well. So yeah. All right, that is the one.
Alicia said that's the one. Yeah,
the title Familiar Spirit by Tuttle. See, when I first saw that, I was like, Tuttle. Okay, gotcha.
At first, I thought it was Turtle.
Yeah. I know.
Okay, so I guess we will go ahead, since we're at the end of the comments, and we'll do another 30-minute sprint.
Yeah.
And I think this one, I mean, we're only going to be able to do the last sprint, and then we'll kind of wrap up with some comments and see how everybody did. Alicia said, my bad, I said the wrong title the first time. No, that's okay. It's okay.
We all do that.
And Travis said, that was a nice story about Mardi Gras while I closed my eyes and rested a little.
Oh, good. I probably put you to sleep, didn't I? Yeah, exactly.
Relaxing. And Linda said 30 is good. Very nice. And also, y'all are not making me want to go to a parade, but I do have a big head, so maybe I'd be good. You just won't go to the ones where you're going to get bombarded with anything.
That's right. Yeah. And stay as sober as you can, because that's important too. When you're sober, you're clear-headed and you can duck.
Right. They can be a lot of fun. And I will tell you, I will be honest. I mean, the day parades have a less I mean, there are people who are drinking during the day parades,
Oh, yeah,
but I would
especially on Mardi
so
Gras
more
Day.
so on Mardi Gras Day.
Right, yes.
But, like, if it's just a regular weekend parade during the day,
Yeah,
you might have some, but it's not, I think, as much as, like, the nighttime parades. It seems like
nighttime
the
parties.
nighttime parades are sort of
Yeah.
like, nightlife, you know? It's
Yes, and
like,
people
a
come
nighttime
to
party
New
is a
Orleans
little bit
for
different
that.
than a daytime
Yeah.
party.
Yeah, it's
So,
true.
yeah.
They are much more alcohol filled at night, and but there are people obviously who don't drink at all, and and there are kids sometimes depending
Yes.
on the parade. People bring kids. My granddaughter, who was last, and she's just now 15 months, almost 16 months old. She went last year. She had little headphones on her head. I think I put that in my video, perhaps. The intro to my Mardi Gras video prep, but I mean, she had a good time, she was fine, but, people get really nervous about that, so you
Yeah.
just know, if you live there, and I don't live
Well,
there,
and also another thing
how
too,
close.
there
Yeah,
what areas are more family friendly
you do,
and which ones are more
exactly.
like party
Yes,
central. So I
yes,
will tell you
exactly.
that there are it's just like anything,
That's
anywhere.
right,
You
that's
know which
right.
areas are a little bit, gonna be able to handle the children. And I will say a majority of people do take their kids like to the daytime parades. It's not that they can't
Yes,
take them at nighttime, but I know
yeah,
we did more of the daytime, but we did
yeah,
our nighttime parades out in Metairie a lot of
yeah,
time,
right.
so but
Yeah,
there was always, like, an area that was really more, like, family friendly. You didn't
yeah.
have but I will admit, when I was in high school, we used to go down by Bonneville. I don't know if you're familiar with Bonneville,
I'm familiar.
down in Metairie,
Yeah.
but,
Mhm.
that's where my high school and a couple of other high schools used to hang out. We
Uh-huh.
would have our little occasional cocktail, but
Uh-huh.
that time there were, like, almost parades every night,
Yeah.
and that was, like, the hangout kinda thing. So I
Sure.
do remember
Yeah.
that, in my high school
That makes
days,
sense. Well,
going
we
to
actually,
that.
where I used to live in Bay St. Louis, we had a children's parade, so the children would get to dress up
Mhm.
and throw things, and that was just so easy and family friendly, obviously, and there was one at the nursing home that my mom lived in for 2 years, 2.5 years, and we would always go there too, and they would get so excited because the kids would come up and they would throw
Yep.
them things, and yeah, so I mean, there's some that are really,
Yeah, in River Ridge, they had one that they would do, and it would go through the neighborhoods, the little
yeah,
children's parade.
yeah,
It was
exactly.
really a lot of fun.
Yeah.
What did Travis say here? He said, "We have them here in Mobile, but yeah, not my thing. I just enjoyed a
Yeah,
King in store." Hey, well, there's all kinds of ways you can celebrate Mardi
all
Gras. Give it
kinds.
to
Yes,
you. And
yes.
PJ said, "I did finally finish my meal prep,
Yay!
chicken breast for salads, egg and cottage cheese bites, banana
Wow.
muffins, ham and veggie soup, and a hamburger dish. Luckily, hubby helped with the dishes."
Oh my
Thanks.
gosh, that's a lot of meal
That is
prep.
amazing. That
That
is
just put me to
amazing.
shame. Yeah.
And Sue says, "Hi, sorry I'm late." Well, you're on time because 'cause we're about to go to a sprint, but this
That's
is
right.
our last sprint because we were only sprinting for a couple of hours just to
Yeah,
kick off.
yeah.
Yesterday, I
Oh,
started the Little French Bistro, and today I'm reading Esprit de Corpse,
all
The
right.
Spirit of the Corpse,
I was gonna say,
or
or
Corpse Spirit, or Corpse Spirit, right?
yeah.
Okay, so let me get our little, screen up with our kitty cat. There we go. Our kitty is started. So happy sprinting, everyone. Welcome back. How did you do?
I got to 83, so did pretty well.
You are rocking and rolling.
I know, it's really an easy read, short chapters, but beautifully written. I'm really stunned by some of the sentences that she's
Mhm.
written. They're so they're like you see it within her writing,
Right.
and you feel it and taste it almost. It's quite sensuous.
Has she reached her destination yet?
She's now in this, like, coffee well, they serve food, so
Hmm.
yeah, so now she's with all the people that work at the place where they serve food and drinks, I guess, and stuff, yeah.
Okay, so I think she might be at her destination.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
Okay, might be, if I'm thinking
maybe.
correctly.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
well, very good.
yeah.
I finished The Haunted Bayou, and it was cute,
Good.
and there was a moral to the story, and very, like, steeped in folklore. And then the second story I read was The Fille Follet, and the little blurb says it's a traditional story which describes the cause and cure of the eerie burning balls of light called the feu de follet or the fille follet, known
Oh.
elsewhere as the willow the wisp or just plain old swamp gas. And so there is a wizard who is not very nice. That's our little wizard
Oh.
guy.
Oh, god.
And he is not a very nice wizard. So anyway, the people in this little village have to deal with this wizard, and some really
Wow.
interesting things transpire.
I'm sure, I'm
But it was
sure.
enjoyable. Both stories were enjoyable. I think I'm going to love this collection. So I wrote down all of them because I want to kind of keep like if I would give a star rating to it and then calculate overall
Yeah,
what I
that's
would
a good
give the
idea.
collection, which would
Yeah.
probably average out to what I would give it if I just said, "What do you think about this collection?" kind of thing.
Yeah, sure,
So,
sure.
so Travis left us. He said, "I'm
I
going to hop
see
off,
that.
ladies, but thanks for the sprints. Always enjoy seeing y'all," which we always enjoy seeing Travis as
Yes,
well.
indeed.
And Jamie said, "Perfect time for that sprint. It was my lunch break, and I was able to read my chapter of The Count of Monte Cristo for today." Yeah,
Very good.
she's tackling a chunker. Um,
Yeah, that is
it
a
took
big
Alex quite a while to read The Count of Monte Cristo, but she enjoyed it.
yeah, yeah, good.
I've never read it.
I have not either, but I'd like to. I got a copy of Lonesome Dove the other day with some Pango bucks, and, because everybody's talking about it, it's the anniversary, and they've all s like, people I didn't think I would really like it, but they're just hyping it up so much, and
Oh, well, if you like character-driven
I
novels,
do, I
it
do.
it is beautifully written, and I will
That's
tell
what they
you,
said,
if
yeah.
you can get through the first 50 pages of it,
Uh-huh.
where they're laying out, like, the landscape and you're kinda
Yeah,
learning your characters and getting a little bit of backstory. The
yeah.
characters are wonderful. If Alicia Yeoh was here, she would tell you, if she's still here. Um, I think about it because I read it in June for June on the Range and for
Uh-huh.
Big Book Summer.
I thought you
I had
did, yeah.
won it. I had won it as a giveaway, and I said that would be the
Oh,
perfect time to
good.
read it. And
Yeah.
Alicia, was listening to it on audiobook. I was listening to it on audiobook and reading with my eyeballs,
Oh,
and, she said listening to Lonesome Dove on audio because of the narrator was like sitting around a campfire, listening to someone telling you a story.
oh,
That's how
nice.
engrossing it would get to you. It was
Yeah,
really good. I mean, I still have not watched Lonesome Dove yet, and I want
yeah,
to
yeah.
because they're just characters you fall in love with,
That's what
It's
people
got a
say.
little bit of everything in
Yeah,
it. A little bit of
yeah.
everything,
I know I
romance
looked at the
and
synopsis, and it was like, cowboys and whores and, all this stuff, and I was like, "Okay." I mean, there's just a lot of
yeah,
stuff.
it's just some of the characters are just likable, lovable that you're just like,
Yeah,
"Oh my gosh," and then you've got some that are horrible, some
yeah.
that just who are, like, in that mid-range where they could be a good
It
person,
could
but
go either
they
way.
make
Yeah.
really bad choices,
Mhm.
and then there's decisions you have to make because you're just a fair person, and it's like you don't wanna do it, but it's like you're pushed to that, kind of thing.
Yeah,
So
sure.
it's about friendship, it's about love, it's about being in that time period. It's about it. They have thrilling scenes that just get your adrenaline going.
Oh, I
And then
can't
there's
wait.
scenes where you just feel like you're sitting in an inner tube going down a little lazy river,
Huh?
kind of thing. It was
Great.
amazing. An
I'm so
amazing
glad.
story.
I'm
At
so
least
glad.
I felt,
Yeah.
it was a 5-star read for me.
Good, good, good.
So Eleanor said, read another chapter with a snack of yogurt and raspberries. That sounds delicious.
Delicious. Yes.
And PJ said, I looked at Lonesome Dove on the shelf at the
Oh,
bookstore.
fun.
Eleanor says, I have Lonesome Dove to read too, and The Count of Monte Cristo is on my TBR. And Jamie said, my friend and I are just reading a chapter a day, really enjoying it so far. We both read an abridged version in middle or high school and remembered loving it. Yeah, those slow reads are really wonderful to do. Gretchen Rubin, who's an author I follow, she listened to some kind of podcast where they were reading War and Peace.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
War and Peace. Is that by Tolstoy?
I think so. It's
Okay, so what they
yeah.
would do is they read War and Peace all throughout 2025, but it was like a chapter a day kind of thing. And she and her sister did it. And so I was like, that really is a great way to tackle a big, huge, chunky book like that
Yeah.
because you're not overwhelmed. And if you can get into the story, you can read that one
That's
chapter and
it.
it's like something you're doing every day. It's almost like talking to somebody every day,
Yeah.
where complete a
Yeah.
story or you
That
catching
is
it with
it.
somebody.
I was hoping for that experience with Les Miserables, but what I think happened was that because I was going to do a chapter a day at least too, because it's 365 chapters, and I couldn't really get into the characters yet. And everybody said you have to give it some time, and I didn't give it enough time after. But
Mm.
yeah, so I'll probably go back to it. But yeah,
Well, that's why I say with Lonesome Dove, get
give it to some.
into that.
Yeah,
You have to because it is a really chunky book. But I
yeah,
think if you can make it through the first 50 chapters. I enjoyed the first 50 chapters because I like character building and all that. I like
yeah,
the whole setting up everything.
yeah,
But to me, like a couple of people dropped off, because they were
yeah,
like, oh, this is so
yeah,
slow and blah,
yeah,
blah. And it's like, well, you got to give it a chance. Once you get over that, then it kind of picks up because
yeah,
we laid the groundwork and everything
yeah,
for it. And like Carmen said, I loved Lonesome Dove. And I
yeah.
read it and people joined in when I ended up reading it. And so that was
Good.
enjoyable too, having people to kind of talk about, because
Yeah,
I'm going to tell you, Laura, there are parts in it that make you want to just jump for joy because you're happy. And then at the next
yeah,
moment, you're just sobbing because
yeah.
you're just so sad, like about certain
See, and I
situations.
like that because then it's hit
Mhm.
me in my
And then you're
emotion.
going to be angry. There are going to be moments where you're
Yeah,
just
exactly.
so
I'm sure.
mad that you're just like, oh, if I was in this book, I would just want to shake these people or whatever. So you go through, I think, with Lonesome Dove, and I think Carmen would agree, you go
Yeah,
through a range of emotions.
I'm sure.
It's
Yeah,
just really wonderful, wonderful writing, storytelling. Lonesome
yeah,
Dove was an easy 5-star by the end of it. Yeah,
yeah,
totally
yeah.
agree with that.
Good, good to know.
And Swank said, thanks for the sprints. Have a Simplify masterclass at 3 p.m.
Oh,
Excellent.
nice.
Enjoy your class. And thanks for being here, Swank. We appreciate
Yeah,
it. And Stina said, read a chapter of Esprit de Corps and glad I made it to the last sprint. Well, we're
yeah,
glad you made it
we're
too. We
glad
always
you
love
did
seeing you,
too.
Stina.
That's right,
Yeah.
and we'll probably have one again soon, and I'll try to host it this next time on my channel so that I can learn how to do that because one of my goals this year is to try to do more sprints. And Kat gave me some notes. I just have to remember which notebook I put those notes in last year when we did this. So
Well, and
yes,
it's like anything that you have learned, it's
you have
as
to
easy
do
as
it.
riding a bike. Once you
Yeah,
get back on the bike, you remember, oh, this isn't so bad. I can do
yeah.
this.
But I do
So,
need to do it frequently in order to remember it and get it stuck in my brain because that's how I
yes.
learn is
Well,
repetition.
that's how I am too. I'm pretty
Yeah,
I'm pretty much a hands-on learner and I
yeah,
have to keep it because if I don't use it, I will lose it. I
Yeah,
really do. I have
absolutely.
to
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
up. I have to keep up with it for sure.
That's me too, so hopefully I can do that.
And
Lurk.
Mama Maggie said, "Lurking for view time." Thank you so much. We appreciate that. We
Thank
like our lurky
you.
turkeys. We do. We
Yes,
love
we
that.
do.
And thank you for hosting these, Kat. You are
Oh,
quite
yeah.
welcome. Krista said, "I was here as a
Oh,
lurker for the
yay,
last little
Krista's
bit."
here.
Woo!
Yay, thank
Hi,
you
how
for
you
joining us.
doing? We loved seeing you, Krista, so much. And Eleanor said, "Thank you for this fun event."
Thank you, Eleanor.
Yes,
Thank
I have
you
to
all.
say.
Yeah.
And thanks for these sprints. Nice to see you both. Same, Jamie. And bye, everyone. Bye, Alicia. So thank y'all very, very much.
Yeah.
Just to remind everybody, the Mardi Gras Readathon started yesterday on January 17th and will be going all the way through Tuesday, February 17th.
That's right.
Just keep your eyes peeled for on our channels to see who's sprinting next. Also, Laurie has a Discord, so she'll be announcing things. There is a section in Discord for the Mardi Gras Readathon. We would love to see what y'all are reading.
Yeah.
If y'all put in what y'all are reading and doing. There are graphics in there. If anybody wants to post anything on Instagram, like in the stories or whatever, we have that. Or if you journal and you want to use them for your journal. And that's also where you can get information about future sprints and the live discussion we're going to have on the Little French Bistro, which is the
Yeah.
group read.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then also in my Discord, I will announce if we have sprints and when the live show will be also. But
Sounds
yeah,
good.
we love
Yeah.
having y'all here.
We
Thank you for
sure
being
do.
here.
Thank you,
I
Carmen.
appreciate it. And Mama Maggie said making donuts, so not much typing with floured sticky hands today.
Donuts are delicious.
That's right. Well, until next time, friends, we will
Thank
see
you all.
y'all somewhere on the parade route.
That's right. Happy Mardi Gras season.
Yep. Bye.